What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Sometimes when you bet on format-dependent hand traps, you win big. Ghost Ogre still waiting for the Numeron network to be more relevant. We see Drone Lock back-to-back formats really showing off, and whenever somebody activates the Near Servant and you resolve this, it feels freaking good to know you've slowed them down a decent amount. But for the price, this is insane. Starstrike Blast version is around 30-some odd dollars, and this has a lot of trouble replenishing itself on the market, and the last sold is actually around 20-something dollars. And then you see the gold rares are up. The common, I believe the lowest listing is 15 before it's 18 out of a structure deck. Welcome to Ash Blossom's world, Droll and Lockbird. And then you do see Kaiba Collection was just back on shelves, I believe, for the Unlimited, but the lowest at $32, the OTS Super. Let's see if there really are any around that $20 mark. Is it actually the most sane one? Nope, not at all. Around $30 as well. And then the Ultimate Rare is above $200. Let's check the sales. Let's see what the actual, oh my gosh, no shot. $350, that can't be an actual sale. Nobody would be that desperate. That is crazy, but a ton around 200 and 240 even. So a lot of people willing to spend the $200 and max out their deck. This will probably fade out of certain formats in the future, so this is kind of people clamoring for it now, preparing for that remote duel YCS, really getting ready, and it's a crazy show to watch sometimes on the market. Artifact Lancia's top rarity, it was around $9 to $10. Now it's towards 15 as people get ready. They gotta protect themselves from things like Dimensional Shifter. How dare he? And he's also up $1 from when I last looked. Last I knew, he was around $3, and there are sales somewhat recently around that $3.20, $3.10. Anytime a card moves $1, it's on Market Watch. There's an old meme with that, but seriously, $1 for this card is 25%, and I'm seeing this activated a lot more on Dueling Book, so you may want to get yours sooner than later if you plan to play it, using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. But with D-Shifter, I really do think it's a super balanced hand trap that it can only be activated pretty much turn 1, and then it's kind of a dead draw later, so you want to be aware of that while playing. Phantasme has a lot of people looking at it as Sky Striker, Salomon, Great Dragon Link still around. There's a lot of links flowing into this format. He's not good against every matchup, Eldritch, Dogmatica, you know, those kind of decks that don't really need to go into things, but even like Alistair Yep tends to link himself off. So Phantasme still seeing a lot of people interested, still going back up in price here during this format, but there's a lot of versions and still a lot of listings currently. Is Phantasme the new format-dependent hand trap? Mayhaps. Now, speaking of the 2019 10s and Dimension Shifter, I wanted to look around and I saw Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon still hanging in around $5+. I remember this initially spiked as a Waking the Dragon target, but also due to its awesome art. And going through a lot of penny stonks that I suggested long ago are turning out pretty well. Around $250 market price Reborn, Reikaki, they look amazing. And you do have Slifer, Obelisk, and Ra in the highest rarity in some senses, but not really because you have Jump, manga, promos, and that kind of stuff. But the Secret Rare looks really good on them, and they're very much lower on listings than they used to be, so this is something to keep an eye on. Both Raw and Slifer under the 100 listing mark here. Also, Palladium Oracle Mana is literally Dark Magician Girl with a cute Karibo and some thighs showing. If I was to call a waifu tax, I would have called this long ago, yet it just doesn't move anywhere, even though it saw play with Magician Souls competitively at one point as one of the best targets. It's wild out there on how some prices could just not pan out, and that's why I'm not a financial investor channel. You don't always know what's going to be right. I probably would have stacks of hundreds of these, and I would have just been dead wrong into the market. Now, a lot of people have asked me, get to the cards, John. A lot of people have asked me where to get the Slifer, Obelisk, and Ra, and these are the two places I would consider buying. AmiAmi.com is from Japan, though, so these prices you see that are around $180-ish, and there's their little jumping girls. We'll come back to the price here. Oh, no, it's updated. So you see $182 here. That's not including shipping from Japan, and these are foot-tall figures. So while the release release date says November, which will be quicker than the December said over at Big Bad Toy Store, and the price looks cheaper than the 220. How much is shipping going to be on a foot tall, you know, from Japan if you want it in a timely manner box? It's going to be a lot more than Big Bad Toy Store's $4 shipping. But if you want it quicker, DHL/EMS is back. You do have Ami as an option for these figures as well. So consider your shipping timing, your rate, and then your price point in as well between the two. It can end up being more expensive potentially from Ami thanks to shipping on these gigantic figures. They are a foot tall. I can't emphasize that. These are amazing. They look amazing. They're super hype. But when you're spending around 600 plus either way for all three, and then you're shipping 3 different times because these are each different months, this is, I believe, a month apart for all 3 of them. Consider which ones you are buying and where/when. They're not going to bundle on Ami. Crystron Halka Fibrax Ultimate Rares are up in prices. We've entered a new format. Also, OTS packs in general having absurd buyouts pretty much everywhere, but the ultra rare has really weird listings versus a price history. I see around 35 lowest, and then it's 40 very quickly, but when I look at the sales, it's pretty wonky and weird. Tons of random, you know, $28, $30, another 28 up here. Really cheap sales here and there among the 35 and 40s that keep popping. But apparently people are looking at this a lot during this format, kind of like the Dragoon engine. All right, I'm back and I want to play this synchro deck. I want to enable that deck. The same with Dragoon. I want to play this power engine within this deck. A lot of people looking at Hulk right now, and that includes the highest rarity version. Pendulum is really coming out swinging into this format price-wise. I looked around at all the wrong places. Celine is far up in price versus, you know, pretty much the format. $15. When did this happen? I actually do not know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Last I knew, she was around 11, 10, and she's 15 solid right now. Abyss Actor Curtain Razor is around $5 versus a market price of around that for sales, but it actually went towards 6. I know Robbie featured this one today, and it is an interesting extender/enabler. Then you also have Oracle of Zephyr. The secret rares up in price. The supers are going low on quantity, and even Super Zephyr Nui is up in price. Did Triff do a Zephyr profile? If I recall, Zephyrs aren't Triff's favorite version of pendulums quite often, but you know, pendulums, aren't they? Oh man, I'm gonna get a lot of the comment section. No, this pendulum deck's that pendulum deck, this pendulum deck. They do actually build a lot of different in-game boards, and there are a lot of different ways to play pendulum. So having certain core pieces that work with all of the decks, and then other pieces that you know are preferred here or there can be a huge difference in how you play pendulums, obviously. Now, I need to apparently extrapolate on this. I do not like featuring pre-sales early on TCG Player because there's low competition and the prices are jokes versus the real people who go out there and do it like Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily, Tier Zero. I know I'm sponsored by them, but I literally sought them out as sponsors because I know they change the game when it comes to pre-sale prices. People come down to their prices. They create the competition realistically, or they sell out because their prices are so good, and then later the price is up versus them. When we look here, yes, there are some notable things happening. Oh, Lightning Storm and the sales rate. Oh, Dolka and the $5 worth. This could be a super or a rare, and I would bet easily, even if it's super, it's going to be $3 or less. There's not a ton in this box that's, you know, old that people are after, and then it comes down to the collectors, but we don't even have confirmed rarities yet. And if this is super or rare, it's pretty much going to tank the price for a very long time to come. So seeing sales rates, I don't really care that there's sales rates over on TCG Player. Is it notable people are willing to spend their money early and desperately? Yes, I guess that's notable, but when you see $30, $30, $30, $30, $30, and people just guessing, and market price unavailable, but 3 listings, people aren't going to be spending their money on this. And I know there's a lot of people that come into here, they're newer to the market, they want these explanations more in depth. I just am at my wit's end of repeating myself every set release, I suppose, that, hey guys, these aren't real prices. wait for the real prices, and what's happening over here is basically a sideshow of the circus. Also to note, Lightning Storm could be in the 2021 Megatins for all we know, just like Extravagance was in Toon Chaos, and that reprint was so good, let's do it again, except super needed on a card like this, Lightning Storm, and super needed on a card like Extravagance. And then there's the small tiny chance that it could be in the Cyber Strike structure decks. I think there's no shot of that, but maybe there is a chance. I really don't think there is, though. You're speculating heavily on all these reprints that aren't announced happening, though. And then Girsu is up in price. I used to call this the Ignister of Links, and remember when people used to think Ignister and think Ignister Prominence, the Synchro, but he is non-targeting removal. You can play this in Sky Strikers, and I'm pretty sure that's the main reason he has gone up here as a Sky Striker option. Herald of the Orange Light Ultimate has 6 sales. Oh my gosh, 165 actually sold, and with that sale, a bunch of people went, you know what, I'll list mine a little bit cheaper, and now there's a ton of listings under that sale. That's still super sick to even see it up there, but a ton of sales around 145, 130, 130. People really wanted to complete their Drytron decks after the ban list, huh? Dengirsu is interesting. I did not know this was so low quantities for Dual Overload. I mean, I guess it's been a while since Dual Overload was out, and this is a generic rank 8. I told people when this was around $2 to $3, you definitely want to consider this for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now it's over a double up versus that time, but it took some time to get there, and I just genuinely don't know when this became a $6 card. I hadn't looked at him in forever till I was considering, you know, certain aspects of the format, and there's a pretty good amount of sales rate on him too for the last couple of days. Definitely a great card in general, even outside of Orcus though. There's a lot of decks that will play it as an option, both casual, rogue, and sometimes in the metagame. Uso the Earth Charmer is around $5. I think this was more so for Zodiac. I would be selling this sooner than later, just if you have it. Like, why not undercut the market a bit, especially with the lowest being towards $5, because I think you'll get a nice holo upgrade, hopefully, in the Megatins for this card, and we should see it printed once again there, as it's from Ignition Assault, and most people are just waiting for the reprint of it, and hopefully a nice upgrade to it. And finally, the Mystic Mine. It's up in price. We knew it would be. It was already clamoring from the ban list and going up there. Now the super rares are almost gone. I hope you enjoy being in a mine format. Please be playing your back row destruction. Lightning Storm now going to be a little more accessible depending on the price fallout and where it ends up. Hopefully it does pull a pot of Extravagance price history where it continues to go down and gets cheaper for you guys to be able to deal with stuff like this. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And I'm going to continue to bring my interest, like the figures, even if you aren't here specifically for that. I know there's a lot of people that are really here for this one and wanted to know where to get theirs. And I would be probably shopping Big Bad Toy Store unless you're in a hurry and then get them from Ami, but maybe shipping options will be good with speed, but round shipping from Japan is very, very slow, which is the best price. So then you're almost better off going here for the shipping and price. But we'll see. Well, there's really no telling until you actually get the notification on what shipping costs from Ami either.